Thursday, April the 18th, 2024, and I'm over in Bedfordshire, Central Beds, about to re-walk a walk I last did in December 2010, nearly 14 years ago, and that was done in two parts again. It was an early walk done in the days when YouTube only allowed me to upload 2 10-minute sections, so thank God that's been superseded. So as I say, Brickhill to Leighton Buzzard today. Quite a tricky walk to undertake this for me at the moment, because of the fact I have to go into London and back out again. So around 2 hours to get here. It's around 12 noon now. Thus far we've got a cracking day though. Will cloud over per the reliable Met sometime this afternoon apparently. Around 9.5, 10 miles of walking to be done. It will be wet in places, I'm pretty sure, looking at the fields from the train coming here. So I will likely be doing the winter diversion route, because this walk, funnily enough, encompasses another bit of canal side walking, and again the Grand Union, and a couple of fields next to that are often flooded. So let's see how we go. Hoping to be on the 1622 out of here, or out of Leighton Buzzard, but let's see. It might be the 1722 since it's an hourly service. No, hold on a minute, what am I on about? It isn't an hourly service from Leighton Buzzard. It's just on this line, which if I remember correctly constitutes part of the east-west route. Not sure if I got my facts right there, but check that. Right, let's press on. Not much more than a halt, this station. A little bit of nostalgia there. Contrasting with a bit of high tech. Yes, and early on here I'm noticing it's pretty damp underfoot already, so it will be the winter diversion for sure, I'd imagine. We're essentially on the edge of Milton Keynes here, just to locate you. Forgot to mention that this is Book 1, Walk 41, Saturday Walkers Club walk. Short section of residential walking, and here's the indicator of why I'll be doing the winter diversion later. Onward destination ahead of us there, Wood. Certainly plenty of mud thus far. Views out across Bletchley. As I say, pretty much a neighbourhood of Milton Keynes now. Wood just behind me. Plenty of bird song. And we now enter gorse territory, with a greater spotted woodpecker, I do believe, calling out in the background there. Warning note. Stop now, mind. Further views back across the plain. Wonderful mixed woodland. Conifers on my left predominantly, and more mixed on the right. There's that greater spotted woodpecker. Following a slightly higher path here, because the main path on my right is quite a quagmire. Yes, rightly so. So ignore that steep incline on the left at this grassy junction to follow the grassy path downhill slightly. Wonderful. The old wren in the background. And something else ahead of me that I don't recognise. Another wren responding. Got a tree down here and a path blockage. Seems like it's been that way for a while because people are taking a left here, diverting. Yeah, that diversion works and avoids a muddier section as well. So maybe that's why the tree's been left as it is. Muntjac there, just ahead of a very wet stile that I've got to get over, and a sign saying beware of the bull. Shouldn't think it's in the field now, that sign looks quite old, thankfully. Possibly older than my last video. This is point 10 of the text, which I'm integrating with the GPX track today, and you don't go over that stile, thankfully, but continue left here as shown on the heavily overgrown finger post here. Just as well I still haven't got the old boots, I'd say. I'd be sodden underfoot by now. Point 11 of the text, passing a plantation that looks like it's been recently trimmed back. And there's that garden warbler song again, there you go. The one I was confusing last week with a nuthatch again. Very hard to see this bird though. Yeah, it's gone. Woodland pond with the hum of the busy A road in the background, which I've got to get across somehow. Ignore that boardwalk on my right. There's the redwoods referred to in the text. And I do remember this section, funnily enough. Nearly 14 years on. Pretty muddy underfoot when I walked it clearly in December, back in 2010. But possibly not as bad as today. I think that's a black cap in the background. Yep, northern nightingale. So here we are, the avenue of Sequoia. Lovely. There's a cool north-northwesterly breeze today, which is making this almost perfect walking weather at the moment, and save the mud underfoot, but mustn't grumble. Not dissimilar to the Surrey heathlands up here, as the Dunnock agrees. Wonderful. Now going through a small section of Buttermilk Wood per the map on a much better path, not far from Woburn Golf Course here. It's funny, I do remember this, which is unusual. Most of my walks are distant memories, 13.5 years on. Of course, having just seen another road, Munkjack, this is the place, or very nearby, Woburn, where the original ones escaped, and they're pretty prevalent. Woburn Safari Park, I believe it was. This wood has certainly been thinned out since I was last here. There goes another one, skulking off. Now out in open country, walking alongside the busy A5, which I've got to cross in a few minutes. And certainly plenty of munkjack about, that's for sure. Point 19 of the text, and this looks like it's the part hidden style, but it is extremely close to the A5, looking through the hedge, and how you get out the hedge I'm not sure. Well, it was, and I got across there quite easily, thankfully. All 4 lanes. And then you come to this London 42 miles sign, covered in ivy now. Just passing Wood Lodge, mentioned in the text. And then an information panel about Duncombe Wood restoration project, which you can search online if you wish to learn more. Greensand Country, which is reference to the soil type underneath. Leaving Wood Lodge with its arch behind me, passing another woodland pond with a smattering of bluebells here. Haven't seen many today, maybe in this wood because it's ancient woodland. Yeah, there is a sea of bluebells over there and a noisy dog. Wonderful. Not quite at their apogee yet. Good to see though. Now following this pleasant little lane to a place called Green on the map, just outside Great Brickhill, where I think I'll stop for lunch. Even though the church is slightly off route, don't think I'll better get there today. Swallows have been, or martins at least, have been spotted in some parts of the country, but I think it's generally a bit too nippy at the moment for them just now. They usually do come around this time of the month though. So it's almost 2 o'clock on the button. I've decided to go and locate the church as good timing for lunch now. Down Rotten Row. View across the plain down there. So it should be a good one from the church if memory serves. Pleasant thatch. There she blows, St Mary the Virgin. confirming the time. Yeah, this church is well placed because it's 4.7 miles into the walk, almost halfway, or depends how I finish up, but it's around halfway mark. And how's about that for service? Seems like that's all set up for me, that one. Wonderful. That's what I like to see. Some renovations going on at the back of the church. Well, unfortunately the decorators are in. I couldn't get into the church. So a second opportunity to test my camera internally. Can't be today. Can't have it always though. Lunch is served on this lovely, what looks like oak table. Fantastic. Okay, 10 to 3, lunch has been had, and as forecast, unfortunately, the sun has pretty much disappeared. It's become overcast, and that north-northwesterly breeze is much more noticeable now. Quite chilly. Very April though. Shame I couldn't get inside, but just bad luck, I suppose. Decent view across the plain from Great Brickhill. The wind is certainly picking up now. Still, hopefully it's not interfering with commentary because got it well protected. The microphone, that is. See the new housing up there. Central Beds is being absolutely massacred with new housing. As I've noted on previous walks that I've done for North Arts Ramblers. Some of those walks. And I've a sneaking suspicion some of the walk that we're about to undertake past Rushmere will be included in a previous walk that I did for them as well. Rushmere Walk. There's the old Red Lion, the recommended lunchtime stop, and yes, I have been here previously, and I have a sneaking suspicion I'm about to replicate previous walking. 1577. That's some age, isn't it? Yeah, I remember filming this memorial stone. Actually, let's give a bit more time to read that. Onward journeys up there. Information panel here about Great Brickhill, Much Brickhill, or Brickhill Magna. Google that for more research if you wish to. Ignore this turning to the right and continue straight on down Cuff Lane. Opposite these stables. Yeah, I've done this previously. Amazing. Don't recall doing it in this way for the Saturday walkers, but as I say, I've done it more recently for North Arts Ramblers, one of their walks. Passing the entrance to the sewerage works. Some lovely blue flowers here. Could Google them and find out what they are. Well, I tried that, but unfortunately I haven't got signal, so can't get a result. Technology, eh? There we go, Rushmere Country Park, which I'm not sure if it was here 14 years back, but as I say, I've been here more recently. Lovely. Lovely mixed woodland again, predominantly pine. Not sure what the other tree is, but I do like this time of year when the trees are so verdant, just coming into leaf. Wonderful. I haven't met a soul on this walk today so far. Fantastic. Tell a lie, there was that noisy dog in Duncombe Wood with its owner. Just about to enter Oak Wood, and there's a information panel here explaining why they have to thin the trees out to avoid upsetting people. That lovely gorse. Yeah, the old garden warbler is pretty prevalent today, and a chiff-chaff as well. Plenty of new growth occurring though, and so the cycle continues. Confusingly, the text refers to the Bucks circular route, but there's also a Bedfordshire circular route. But in any case, the Munkjack symbol, the Greensand Ridge Walk, which we're now following, is over that way. Dragonfly sculpture there at this pond on my left. Starting to see more people now as we approach civilization, i.e. a car park and a cafe not too far distant. There you go. Always happens, and that's why cars and the countryside don't mix in my book. Though until we get a better transport system, public, that's the way of the world. And I guess even I'll be driving soon, once the old legs pack up. Views to the right of the wood. The post-lunch section of walking is much drier than it was this morning, thankfully. Passing the dog fun area, it's a new one on me. Not in use at the minute. Don't recognise that bird in the background. That one. Well, interestingly, my Bird Nerd app has predicted with high confidence that that bird I couldn't recognise is a coal tit. And I don't frequently hear those, which is why I didn't recognise it. So the old app, and I can see it now, yeah, definitely a coal tit. Fantastic. The old car park's quite busy, and the cafe's over yonder, I do believe, as well. That's another possible lunchtime, later lunchtime or early tea time stop. Bench here donated by the LDWA. Sarah Hooper Capron. Can smell the pine weeping out of this tree that's recently been felled. Lovely. Well, there you go. I didn't know the Sequoia or redwoods were previously known as Wellingtonia because they arrived in the country shortly after the death of the Duke of Wellington. Amazing, eh? Lots of tree clearance since I was last on this path. The Ouzel Meander, this is O-U-Z-E-L, after a river. Got the River Ouzel now on my right. As we approach Corbett's farm, where there are a couple of options to take. So normally in dry conditions, and I have been here before and done that option, it would be turn right over the cattle grid past Corbett's Hill farm. I've just come from that direction. So instead, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to take the wet weather alternative, because just speaking with a local, she suspects that field is likely to be flooded, as I do. So continuing straight on, this is the wet weather alternative. So having done a bit of residential walking along Plantation Road, take this Riverside Walk sign, also the Greensand Country sign down here, crossing over the River Ouzel again on this wooden footbridge underneath me. Well, thought this was meant to be an alternative, a dry winter weather alternative. Doesn't look much like it here. And it refers to a footpath, a clear footpath on the right, but I don't see one. Oh dear. So having just crossed Ouzel Meadows, I didn't see any path on the right, so I'm not sure what the notes are referring to there. So I just followed this not surface path across the meadow, and here I am next to the canal, which is great. And as an added bonus, the cattle have recently left, so I didn't even have to encounter them. Probably longhorns anyway, which are quite placid. So that little winter wet weather alternative doesn't really seem to add much to the walk, but we'll soon find out when I hit the station. And we come out opposite the Wyvern Shipping Company, who clearly hire out canal boats. So here we go, another week, another canal. Same canal, but a different area, different part of it. Grand Union. Goldfinches in the background, chattering away. Overspill area here from the canal, and below me I've just seen a yellow wagtail fly off the wall. Sorry, not yellow, grey wagtail. This also constitutes part of NCN6 again as well. So that means you could cycle from here along the towpath pretty much all the way to Harborough, where I was last week by the looks of it. Bromston 46. There's a Tesco just the other side of the fence, which is pretty convenient for these long-term moorers. So we leave the canal here, Cafe de Vibes, and in fact from reading the notes the wet weather alternative is actually shorter than doing the main route, I believe. Self-explanatory information panel about the Greensand Ridge Walk. Aforementioned Tesco car park. So the variant I've done today, 9.8 miles, 4 hours 7. So that's book 1, walk 41, re-walked again after almost 14 years, and very pleasant it was, albeit it would have been nice to do more of the towpath, but hey ho. Yeah, paths were prior to lunch pretty wet and muddy underfoot, but afterwards okay. Weather was decent, still a bit of sun now behind the cloud, so I can't grumble, although I will, particularly as looks like Arsenal have lost both the Premier and gone out in the European as well. Always something to grumble about. But yeah, good walk. Just waiting now for the 17:17, so a bit later than I anticipated. But no point in rushing these things at my age now. And incidentally, by inserting my Sorbothane double shock absorber insoles today, I think the old joints are a lot happier. And then on that note, till the next time, which may or may not be next week. I've got something else lined up on Friday, so let's see.